Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you from thehealthyamerican.org. So many of you have been asking me about my Peggyisms, about the vocabulary that I've been using over the last 3 years to outwit the nitwits. There's one phrase for you right there. In other words, in order to remain on this platform where I speak the truth, and I have been helping you stand up against the tyrant since day one of this hogwash, there's another word for you. I have come up with my own vocabulary because I find it so much more descriptive in terms of actually what's going on here. And it's also injecting a little bit of levity into the conversation because what we are facing is so darn heavy. So I came up with a list of words. I've done this in the past as well, but I think I've added new vocabulary over the months, and you may need to include some of the words that I may have overlooked. So I'm going to share that with you in just a moment. So many of you have emailed me saying that you say these sayings with your loved ones. It's kind of funny. And I just wanted to bring you a whole list of what I've been saying over the last few years. Before I do that, I do want to thank the sponsor of this video.
Nobody really feels like they're getting older until they suddenly do. And maybe you've noticed your energy is fading faster than it used to, or that the vitality you once had now feels more distant. That's why it's so important to be proactive about your health. Your body needs the right nutrients to help you feel as young as you do, which is why Dr. Greg Eckel, and you can see him right here, he's got this free tutorial for you that I want you to watch over at PeggyAgeFix.com. Dr. Eckel is a specialist in regenerative health for almost 25 years, and he is helping people regain their energy and vitality. Listen, he is a naturopathic doctor. He is not a part of the mainstream medical merry-go-round. I know that's important for my viewers. So Dr. Eckel has a breakthrough product called Advanced Greens Plus. You can learn all about it here at PeggyAgeFix.com. I also want you to watch this free tutorial where he explains everything for you, and he introduces the world's first anti-aging drink. That is so exciting. This is a simple, convenient way to get the vital nutrients of over 50 different fruits, vegetables, and superfoods into your body so you can support healthy aging in a way that fits into your day. Most of those green drinks out there, they taste pretty terrible. That bitter, earthy taste that makes you want to hold your nose. But Advanced Greens Plus sets a new standard in both nutrition and taste. People are actually excited to drink it each day because it's that good, and it's making a real difference in their lives. One of their customers, Peter, says, I take one scoop early in the morning, and I'm definitely more energized for my morning walk. He says, I used to just walk around the block, and now I can go for an hour walk in the park. And Jeff, another customer, says, this is by far the best greens drink I've ever tasted. It's rejuvenating, it's uplifting, especially after my workouts. So imagine starting your day with something that tastes great and gives you the energy you need to feel your best. This is Advanced Greens Plus. It's more than just a greens drink. It's a way to get back the energy you felt was slipping away, and it actually tastes great. So if you're ready for a breakthrough in healthy aging, I want you to visit PeggyAgeFix.com. Again, PeggyAgeFix.com. I will have a link for you in the description box below, and that's where you can also watch the video to discover Advanced Greens Plus. You know, it's time to support your wellness without dreading the taste.
Friends, what in the non-spinning world? Some of you don't like when I say that, and others of you are saying, I'm glad that you are using that expression. Notice that I'm never talking about the shape of the world. That's a conversation for another day. But I personally, in my own experience that I can see with my observable reality is that I don't see the world spinning. I'll just put it that way. But that is one of the phrases that I use. I have a whole list here, and I'll read a few off my phone, and then I made a list as well. So as I say, I have created this vocabulary to outwit the nitwits. These censors on these public platforms are so sensitive, although I think that it has receded over the years. And I was shocked when some of my previous videos were given a strike and I was unable to upload. And if you get 3 strikes, you are out on this channel. And I want to maintain my presence here because I want to reach you, and I want to reach other people that are just stumbling across the channel. YouTube is a search engine, meaning if you type something into into an internet search, for example, how to get a religious exemption, it's likely that my video might pop up on YouTube. But Rumble is not a search engine. Instagram is not a search engine. Facebook is not a search engine. And my daily messages I create and I broadcast and I publish them for you here because I want to reach as many people as possible. So that's why I am on this platform. I am on Rumble and BitChute and Brighteon and Instagram. I'm very, very rarely on Facebook. And I think my Telegram channel was hijacked. I really am never there personally. I know that a lot of my videos are posted there, but I feel like it's the Wild West and I'm really not there at all. Okay, so to outwit the nitwits, I've come up with these words. And when in the very early days, when you could speak freely, I probably said things, like the suffocation device. I probably used that 4-letter word, but I think that it's more descriptive to actually refer to it as a suffocation device, or more accurately, a self-suffocation device, because I don't know of anyone, unless you were pinned down in a hospital or a jail, you were arrested or something. I don't know of any situation, again, except for maybe in a medical setting, maybe you were unconscious or something, where somebody forcibly put that suffocation device on you. Now, I never did it. All right. I hashtag never have, never will. That's another one of my sayings, because I just don't swim in that sea of evil. That's another one of the expressions that I have. So yeah, the suffocation devices, I just don't go there. Also, the nasal assault. All right. That is something that many of you have fought against. And I have several free educational videos. I mean, I have hundreds, I have thousands of videos that I've made, and some of them were taken down by YouTube because I was mainly on YouTube. So I have free educational videos about how to avoid the nasal assault, because I know they're still trying to force you to do that in hospital settings. So the other thing I talk about is when I'm showing information and I want you to draw your own conclusions. So I call that connecting the clots. Yes, that's how I say it. And when I am showing you information and sharing my screen, I often use the phrase, what is the phrase I use? Let's take a look now, shall we? And I started using that phrase back in the day when I was sharing some pages from the CDC website. And that's where they were talking about making your own suffocation device out of an old scarf. And below this video, they had all of these, what looked like very official reports and studies and research that they were using to justify this idea of making your own suffocation device out of an old scarf. And apparently I was the only person who actually clicked through, which led me to a dead end. So I ended up doing an internet search for every single one of those studies that they were citing. And guess what? Not one of them had anything to do with the suffocation device. It was all a bunch of bait and switch. And that video got taken down from YouTube. It still lives on over at BitChute and on my private channel. And then when I went back to the CDC, they had scrubbed those pages. So I know that they're watching. Same thing for the FDA. I had shown a page where we hopped on over and I said, let's take a look now, shall we? At what the FDA says about the N95. And they took that page down after I exposed something very shocking, which they also took my video down. So I'm not going to say it right now, but it did have something to do with the efficacy and how, let's just say, whether or not it was proven to work for these types of situations. I'll put it that way. So yeah, shall we is probably one of my most well-known expressions. A more recent one came from a Healthy American. When over the last couple of weeks, I've been sharing with you some very alarming statements made by candidate Kennedy, as I call him. And he threw his hat in the ring. And many of my Healthy Americans have been following his exploits and his information, his website, his interviews, his blog post, and all of that. And they were shocked when he said in his own words that he was fiercely pro cocktail. And one of my Healthy Americans said, gave him the nickname of Junior because he's RFK Junior. So now I just call him Junior. And if you're interested in that, I have several videos. Be sure to click on live as well as videos to see all of the broadcasts that I've done. I normally do live videos. are more common. All right. I also talk about the powers that shouldn't be, or the hogwashers, the puppet masters, the evildoers. And those are kind of all under the heading of the New World Disorder. So that's another one that I coined. I talk a lot about those people that belong to the nasal Schwab. Yeah, how do you like them apples for that name, for that evildoer? Nasal Schwab, he runs that group called the WEF. So all of those that have been following what he does, like Linda Yaccarino, who was or is the #2 person over at Twitter, she is a WEFer. And that's what I call them, WEFers. Okay, how do you like them apples? Let me look at my other lists. I may be leaving some out here. Of course, we can't leave out talking about cooties. You see, when I was in 4th grade, the boys had something called cooties, and apparently it was contagious, but luckily we had cooties spray. So we would just use our cootie spray, and then the cooties were gone. So I used to talk about the cooties cure, that if you became a human pincushion, that's another phrase, by taking the cooties cure, then you would be cured. But I realized I didn't want to lead people astray, so I started calling it the cocktail. Some people didn't like that, apparently, because they like to drink cocktails, and they thought I was maligning one of their favorite drinks. But the truth is, these cocktails contain a whole mixture of things. So I think calling it a cocktail is the perfect word to use. Of course, I've spoken out against discrimination at the woke place. That's one of my favorite words that I've coined, because that's exactly what it is with their DEI, or should I say the DIE, the diversity, exclusion. Actually, it's more like discrimination, exclusion, and indoctrination. And a lot of these woke places are now getting rid of those programs, they say, for budget reasons. Yeah, I guess so. The resident in chief, or the occupier of the White House, is another way that I refer to that imposter. And of course, I have a lawsuit against the public serpents. That's another one of your favorite phrases that I came up with, because serpents serve evil, and not every public official is a public serpent. There are some that are actually serving the public as they should, because we have elected them. I suppose some are selected to represent us. And the ones that are serving evil and swimming in the sea of evil, I refer to them as the public serpents. And I am on the record saying that I am marching this fight all the way to heaven. So friends, those are the ones that come to mind. Let me know in a comment below what your favorite expression is. Do you have one that you use when you are referring to all of this? And let me know if I've left any out. And I just want to thank you for being a healthy American. And that's probably my favorite expression of all. And the reason why I called my YouTube channel The Healthy American is because back in 2020, when they sloshed the hogwash all over us, they were telling people that they were sick and they didn't even know it, that they were carrying around this mystery disease, and they were so deadly that simply breathing on someone could cause them to get this lethal, deadly illness. So it always made me question, why in the non-spinning world would you have to be tested by having that nasal assault go all the way up basically to your brain, as people told me who had it done? Couldn't you just blow your nose on the tissue and give it for the test? And of course, you know, those tests are 100% accurate, and they test for this molecule and particle that has been absolutely irrefutably identified, you know, all about that. And if your breath is so highly contagious, why couldn't you just breathe on the swab in order for them to collect your cooties germs? I have many questions about this, but the reason why I called it The Healthy American was to refute their stance and their insistence that we were sick and we didn't even know it. That would be like you walking around with a broken leg and you didn't even know it. Although one of you emailed me and said that you had a broken leg and you didn't know it. That's kind of strange to me. You'd think you would have some pain, but maybe your body doesn't give you those pain signals like it does for most people. Or why not this? Why not all of us walk around on crutches just in case we do have a broken leg and we don't know it? Or why don't we all take insulin? Because, you know, we might be diabetic and we don't know it, or take chemotherapy just in case you have cancer. So these things might be rolled out if the powers that shouldn't be and those pushing the new world disorder want to have their way. What say you, friends? Thanks for being on board. I look forward to seeing you in an upcoming video. Remember, I do my broadcast Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes it's more like 7:15 once I get the technology squared away. So I hope that you will join me. If not, you can see everything on the replay. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you in an upcoming broadcast.